All right, it looks like our runners are getting started, so we wake up in Uncle's house and let's see what our first item is going to be. Oh, just 50 rupees, nothing to write home about. A good start though, guaranteeing the bomb purchase at the Kakariko village.
And down the well we go. Let's see what item Uncle has for us. Ooh, but the bow. The ever-elusive bow.
My prediction perhaps coming true. I said an early bow or hammer and a late one of the others, so we'll see if that takes place. Oh, look at that. 3 bombs right here at the first treasure chest, so both of our runners are going to have to worry about hunting for a bomb. It should make for a very, very quick escape sequence, probably in that 6-minute range, or perhaps even slightly under.
With a single green rupee.
Well, it's always kind of reassuring to get that out of the way. There's only, I believe, 2 of those in the game possible. Both our runners juking out these green knights. Sometimes they can give you the one will aggro you and cause just a little bit.
So we get the double key pickup.
Both runners going for two arrows and a pot as a way to kill that ball and chain knight. We find the map here inside Zelda's jail cell, which means that the sanctuary chest is going to be checked. Nice to get a little reward when you finish the sequence. Kelsey missed the staircase there. Had to do a little U-turn.
We have Fat Homie heading into the back half of Escape, pushing away that big wall thing.
I'm not quite sure what that is. Some kind of mantle piece without a fireplace, it looks like. It's got a couple of big swords on it and some candlestick holders right behind the throne. Oh, these snakes or ropes or what they're officially called, just causing all sorts of trouble for both runners, just won't get out of the way. And we find a +5 bomb upgrade down here in the dark area of Escape.
too important right now, but for those dreaded bomb jumps, that could be helpful.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how early on in the game bombs are such a limited resource, and then later on, as you progress, you always find that runners will have like 20 or 30 bombs in surplus in most cases. We're going to get our look at the 3 chests here in the backside of Escape. Two pieces of heart and the 10 bomb stack, which replenishes both of our runners. It's going to make for a nice easy clear of Kakariko Village when they arrive there, and they will not have to stop off and spend any of those 50 rupees on a bomb refill, which is nice at this point of the game. About 6 minutes and 10 seconds or so to get out of the escape, finding a big 20 rupee on the way out, and both of our runners are probably going to head off towards Kakariko Village. Now, I have a question. Do you think that these runners are going to head up and check Lumberjack? Oh, we're getting a map check here. We see that Tower of Hair is a blue pendant, and the other 2 dungeons are crystals. That'll help us out. But as I was...
what were you going to say?
Oh, as I was saying, do you feel that we're going to see that Lumberjack check? It seems almost 50-50. Some runners definitely do it every time, and others do not.
It looks like we will actually have a Lumberjack. Let's see what the tree pull gives us. With the full magic. We are stacked.
Ooh, and a refill on arrows from the bush crab there as well, so runners are loaded for bear at this time. And it looks like an empty bottle there on the Lumberjack house. Now, that does not indicate yet that AGA is going to be required, but it's still quite a possible thing to have happen.
Both of our runners heading into the Lost Woods to pick up their 2 items. But, ooh, there is the power mids. Excuse me.
It always feels great, I think, to get the Power Glove early on. It's just going to give you a lot of little extra bits of access to the world and to a couple of checks that will help you out. A small piece of heart in the bandits' hideaway. Bring them closer to that next full heart. What the bow does mean is that Eastern Palace check is going to look really, really tempting when they get when our runners get there, because they are going to be able to, with a minor set of dark rooms, sequence breaking, be able to clear particularly fast at this time.
And I honestly expect them both to go do the sequence break in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. The bottle that they find here and fighter sword here in the bottom of Blind's hut, it's going to be very pleasant for both of our runners. They're going to be pleased to see that. First of all, the bottle will allow them to check Sick Kid. A big 20 in the putting them well over the 100 rupees needed to check the bottle vendor means that Kakariko Village is going to be a full clear for them at this time, which is very, very good.
Yes, it definitely makes the routing a lot more convenient. And another piece of heart, and 10 rupees, and then another piece of heart. There's a single arrow, 10 arrows, the upgrade.
$20 more rupees. Not the best of exchange deals from the bottle vendor, but you live and learn as we head into the area of Kakariko Village.
Looks like Fat Homie goes for the...
Nails it and gets a full heart container.
The Sanctuary heart container, actually.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Excellent.
Sick Kid providing the mirror, though.
That, again, a very welcome sight early on. Just opens up all sorts of routing options. And a small piece of heart hiding in the back of the tavern.
We'll be heading into the library to see if boots will be required soon, but it will not.
There is still a possibility of the Desert Palace having, as it is a crystal dungeon, having the key, the big key, on the torch that's there, and that's going to make them head off on a boots hunt as well.
Then we also have the very trolly torch in Ganon's tower could possibly have the big key. We have Kelsey checking their map and deciding where to go next.
Both our runners following the fairly standard route, going to check out the dam. Especially with the mirror, it's really easy to do this in one phase with the ability to mirror away this block. Getting a Moon Pearl. We are almost at full Dark World access with the hammer being the only thing missing.
Not only will that hammer allow our runners to access the Dark World, but it will also allow them to dish out tier 3 damage.
Fat Homie picks up a fish. He's going to take that for a little ride. Oh, what a nice guy, that Moogle, saving the fish, throwing it back into some water after it drained the dam. As we head into the mini Moldarm cave. Oh, this last Trolldorm, mini Moldorm being a mini Trolldorm for Kelsey, but managed to vanquish it without too much loss of life. And look at that, the Power Glove, or the Titan's Mitts, and Silver Arrows.
Yeah, 2 very nice items to find.
Wow, so there's, at this point, very early on in the game. Neither of our runners seems willing to risk not checking Ice Palace, Ice Rod Cavern. It is just a single check, and it is a little bit of... It is often a source of pain should it have something that is necessary to require the game, and you decide to try and save a few minutes here. Now, some of the people in chat are mentioning that, ooh, Master Sword.
Yeah, that's another nice find.
Are talking about the ability for our runners. They could do a fake flipper here, but when you are lacking the rupees, it's a little less enticing at this point. As well, since it is definitely out of logic, you can't hope to get some of the necessary early items. So I would be very surprised. Although it looks like Fat Homie may be choosing to do this.
And yes, you are correct. Fat Homie getting the fake flipper glitch on the first try, though.
Yes, and he did it the hard way. From the difficult side, just managed to find that perfect pixel edge, sees that it's a +5 bomb upgrade on the island, and he's going to make his way down to the hobo under the bridge to see what loot he can find there.
have the green pendant in Theedstown. So that leaves all of our important crystals in the Dark World.
So Harshala is hoarding a large sum of money in his... Fat Homie having a little bit of difficulty finding that right pixel. There it is, in order to reactivate the of Hobo.
And it looks like the Fat Homie will be heading up to the Waterfall Ferry to get the 2 items inside.
Now, this is a risky gamble that he's taking. Hopefully it'll pay off for him. He uses a lot of time for these checks that are out of sequence. Meanwhile, Kelsey has made her way into the Eastern Palace. Fat Homie finds just 40 rupees, but will get a chance to fill up that empty bottle with some kind of delicious goo.
The safety strats.
Oh, wow, it's a blue goo this time. Excellent. You see 300 rupees on Zora's Ledge. Kelsey makes her way to the second chest, finding it to be the map. So that's 2 dungeon items in the first 2 chests of Eastern Palace.
It looks like Fat Homie is heading over to Eastern Palace. Meanwhile, Kelsey gets the quick skeleton kills and finds blue mail.
Yeah, a very solid amount of hearts. 7 hearts plus blue mail for this first Eastern Palace dungeon is really comfortable. We don't yet have the big key, so she cannot check the big key chest along the way, but probably will be finding it in the next chest that she gets to, and it will allow her to swing by before heading up into the back half of Eastern Palace. Sequence break. The dark rooms in Eastern Palace are probably one of the first ones that most people who are playing A Link to the Past learn how to deal with if they're playing Rando. They're not particularly difficult. They're fairly straightforward. The only hard part is in just behind the big key, where you do have to deal with one of the Igors in order to get a key. Sword beams of the Master Sword will make that a little easier, as there is a little skip.
And there is our Eastern Palace big key in its vanilla location. And unfortunately, just 3 bombs in the big chest, so nothing too crucial.
Kelsey's looking very hard to find her target here with the bow.
And
there it is.
There is the small key.
Now it's just simply a matter of finding this one infernal pot that is up in the way here of this door, picking it up, and then finding it has made it through Well, opened the door, but hasn't been able to find her way through it yet. There it is.
Meanwhile, Fat Homie is making their way through Eastern Palace with ease.
Oh, Kelsey forgetting to step on the button.
Ooh, and barely missing that Igor.
Fortunately, with silvers, this boss is fairly trivial, able to be done with 6 direct shots. And that is how it's done. Just a 10 arrow upgrade. And this is off to a great start.
Now, Crowzone, at Eastern Palace, where do you think they will go to next?
Well, I think at this point, my personal preference would be to head back to Kakariko Village, use those tight mitts to go to the Village of Outcasts, and to clear that area, take the south route down to Hype Cave, and see what kind of overworld items I get from there. Of course, a stop around Thieves Town is probably called for in that, although it is the Green Pendant Dungeon in this particular case. However, those first 4 items, at least, the first 4 checks there, often too hard to pass up.
Yes, they are 4 very easy items to get, in addition to the several items we will get from Village of Outcasts.
Looks like that's the play that Kelsey seems to be making.
We have Fat Homie unfortunately taking.
All right, and we see that Turtle Rock and Skull Woods are our 5/6 crystals, and the other pendant dungeon is Misery Mire. So that changes things. Have access yet to the back half of Skull Woods, but Kelsey, knowing that there's only 2 items of value in this dungeon, it's often an easy, quick check to just see if you can find something that will help you out along the way, and gets half magic right off the bat. It's awesome to find a lot of safety in that. Oh, look at that. So Fat Homie gives up on and chooses to begin the trek onto Skull Woods. Does mean that he's gonna have to return, but since Pod is also a crystal dungeon and he has the mirror, it's hopefully he'll be able to return with the lantern, which will be a quick and easy 2 crystals in a row.
Ooh, but Kelsey finds the bug net.
Yes, and finding the bug net here, that is the second item out of Skull Woods. And since you can't complete it, it really does mean that it's time to head elsewhere and look for better rewards.
Fat Homie making quick work of those Gibdos with the silver arrows.
Helps you picking up another 50 rupees from the chest game. I'm gonna go pull on the Thieves Town door and heading right on in. just because the ease of the location here, as well as the minimal item requirements. There's the lantern. Thieves Town really does have what seems to be a high percentage of chance finding progression items, and that seems to be the case this time because the lantern was locked, and as well the cane of Samaria. 2 huge items to find in the first 2 chests of Thieves Town.
Thieves Town with the goods.
You gotta feel good about finding those 2 to help unlock Turtle Rock later on, which we have seen to be a required dungeon. And the lantern means no more dark rooms for this runners at this point in the game. Now, what is your thoughts here? So Kelsey has found 2 items in Thieves Town. There are 2 left. Do you go into the back of a green pendant dungeon?
I personally would, especially with Thieves Town. It, to me, personally, is a very... And that green pendant is another incentive.
Yeah, it's a tough call for me. I think I would probably, since it's a green pendant, want to clear this. I may have to question myself if it were blue or red, though.
Looks like Fat Homie is dipping out of Skullwoods, but rather than going into Village of Outcasts, it looks like they're going to go check Bumper Cave.
Yep, seeing that it's 300 rupees, not anything to be concerned with but for the time when he does find the cape. And I imagine that he'll take a look at the Graveyard Ledge item at this point.
Unfortunately, though, without the boots, Fat Homie will not be able to check the King's Tomb.
Yes, that is correct. It is a boots lock, and it does feel a little awkward when making this kind of a check when you could only get one of the 3 possible things along this way. Although he does find the Tempered Sword, and that's going to speed up every boss fight from now on out for him.
Yes, it will. But Crowzone, did you notice what item Kelsey picked up in the top of Thieves Town?
It was, I believe, the Book of Literacy.
It was the Book of Literacy, so that opens up the Bombos and Ether Tablet, in addition to being able to check the pedestal.
Oh. And we are quite close to the Lost Woods, just a quick mirror away, and a little travel to the north.
Fortunately, neither runner, at least right now, will be able to clear Thieves Town fully because they are missing the hammer.
That is correct. However, if blind happens to drop the last item, then it will not be a problem for these runners.
We have Fat Homie checking their map and getting a knowledge of... Meanwhile, we have Kelsey fighting blind. Kelsey does pull out the bombs, and I thought bomb strats were going to be used, but it looks like no bomb strats this time.
Makes quick work of blind, doesn't even allow him to get to the... And it was the map, which means there is a orphaned item left in the big chest of Thieves Town that our runners may weigh heavily on their minds if they hunt for a single item. Checks into Thieves Town. So for this early time point in the game, our runners have a healthy item loadout.
They definitely do, and in my opinion, it's good they don't have too many places to check, because usually when you have a plethora of places to check, tend to be forgotten.
Yes, and when you have a lot of options, there is the risk of making the wrong choice. In this particular case, we only really have a few locations left to path to that make logical sense. So that will be helpful for our runners.
Game chat, how many digs do you think it will take?
Oof, I counted 21. 21.
I counted 21, and whoever guessed 21, congratulations. It looks like it was actually Katakahasa who guessed 21 first. And we also have Hip Hop Cheerio, excuse me.
It always feels great when you have the Titans mitts at this point, so that you can go check dig game and then head back up and deal with Jeremiah right away. It can sometimes get a little awkward to find the time to route back into Village of Outcasts after you've finished Thieves' Town. PHatHome picking up his dictionary at this time.
Ooh, and getting a nice tip for bringing Jeremiah home.
50 rupees for returning a wayward smith. And we grab the lunchbox. And it seems that Kelsey will now be making that southern route, checking the south of Grove Cave, Stumpy, turning in this chest. Also able to check the tablet before heading over to Hype Cave. It's a real efficient possible route for her.
But seeing 20 rupees and noping on out.
Manages to avoid getting a bush clip there. Let's see what old Stumpy has for us today. Just 5 rupees.
Meanwhile, we have PHatHome heading over to Blind. Now, unfortunately, that Tempered Sword will not help PHatHome at all. Blind only requires 9 hits, and it does not matter what item you have.
That's true. Oof, Blind is giving him a hard time, but he did remember to throw that empty bottle into the waterfall, so he had a free blue goo to spare. Kelsey gets the fire rod out of that purple lunchbox.
Yes, very exciting.
So PHatHome has now completed his first dungeon. It was the Green Pendant dungeon, but that's also a potential item. And Kelsey finds on this tablet 20 rupees for this detour.
The big red 20.
So I believe that after Hype Cave, depending on what we find here, is really going to dictate where our runners go. What item do you think that they'll be looking for in this hype cave situation?
My guess is hammer or hook shot.
Yes, and here's our pedestal check. Just a bomb storage upgrade.
Ooh.
The dream is gone, my friends.
Rip pedestal dream. Rip excitement.
100 rupees from the hype cave hideout, and then 1 on the first chest, 3
Oh.
and 10 arrows. So that's going to really make Death Mountain an attractive place to head to right now. We have the lantern, so it is in sequence.
In addition to having the Titan's Mitts.
Yes, which is going to give us Dark World and Dark Death Mountain and normal Death Mountain, able to be completed all in one go.
And it looks like Kelsey actually is headed towards Death Mountain.
Yes, there's a large concentration of chests and items to be opened in this. It's at this stage, it feels really great to have all of that in one trip. Death Mountain is one of the longer areas to navigate, and so the fewer times that you need to head up there, the better.
Kelsey has picked up the old man to take him home. Meanwhile, Fat Homie has picked up Jeremiah.
Oh, double escort quests taking place right now.
The Zelda Uber delivery service.
A piece of heart from the old man as a tip. So Tower of Hera is a blue pendant in this particular seed. So I would be surprised for Kelsey to head on in there, at least at this particular juncture. There is a piece of heart on top of Spectacle Rock. And let's see what we find underneath. A fighter shield.
Ooh, not worth it. But I actually predict Kelsey to head into Tower of Hera and check the first 2 items and then head out.
Oh, that is true. They are very easy to check, so.
It looks like Kelsey is looking for that fairy drop, but not finding one.
Provide her with a full health restore.
But the ether tablet with the fat 300 rupee drop, hopefully Kelsey realizes that Zora is still open.
Technically, the Zora traded is in sequence, but ooh, finding the small key in the basement of Hera, in the front basement, might be indicating that she'll have to have a fire source to go any further, unless, of course, the big key is found here. Nope.
But speaking of fire source, Fat Homie picks up their fire source.
I forgot that she had already had the fire rod.
And Kelsey gets the block glitch, so Kelsey will have a few seconds to sit back and relax.
It slipped my mind for a moment how she has both the lantern and the fire rod. I'm not used to a Steve being so generous with the fire at this point in the game.
There is our big key where it has to be.
This is I don't want to say a risky play, but it is a little bit of a gamble. The reason that Tower of Hera is not so risky is it is relatively short, so at this point you're only losing maybe a couple of minutes for making this check. And of course, if it does pay off, it could be a tremendous advantage. PHatHome has finished the Hype Cave check and it head to somewhere else. Looks like Sanctuary, and I would be anticipating that he's going to make his way up Death Mountain as well. Oh, oof. Kelsey unfortunately does not quite time that hookshot skip and is knocked directly into the hole by that spark around the big key chest. Oh no! Tragedy upon tragedy as a double fall happens when trying to set up the bomb jump. Kelsey nopes out of the Tower of Hera. It's not worth the effort at this point. Instead, just going to take a look at the Paradox Cave. So many items here available to check.
Now, Crowzone, do you think PHatHome will follow Kelsey and head into Tower of Hera?
I'm not certain. At this point, I wonder if he feels behind after being unable to finish Eastern Palace. And that might indicate that he may try to avoid any unnecessary dungeons. Perhaps he'll go in and see that it is a basement required and say, oh, I'll come back here if I need it.
Looks like Paradox Cave not really having that much value.
Yeah, blanked out for us. Kelsey's probably going to try and head up the shortcut here, taking the bomb jump, going up and coming back down Spiral Cave before lifting up the heavy rock down at the bottom and going up Dark Death Mountain Super Bunny Cave. PHatHome does take his dip into Tower of Hera.
Again, going back to not having boots, Spiral Cave without boots is not very much fun.
It is a long walk. PHatHome activating the coffee break in the tile room. Kelsey's rewarded with a bloomerang for making that spirally descent down Death Mountain. Getting the hookshot skip in Super Bunny Cave. So we have a big 20 and 5 arrow upgrade so far in the dark side of Death Mountain. I wonder if Kelsey will take a look at the floating island before going into hookshot. Looks like that will not be the case.
We did see a 20 rupee drop on the floating island, but we do find the flute in Hookshot Cave and the hammer.
Wow.
Two very nice items.
So we'll take a look at what medallion will be our hunt. It is the Quake medallion, so runners will be on the lookout for that. And Kelsey deciding not to try the Spike Cave. She does not have any extra health items at this time, so would not be able to make it through through there, even though she does have the hammer now. PHatHome manages to full clear the Tower of Hera. He's going to find the magic powder on Trolldorm. Now that could be a very useful item. It does lead to the Mad Batter, plus that additional health from all those anti-fairies being converted into regular fairies is always beneficial.
Meanwhile, we have Kelsey activating their flute, so fast travel will be fast.
Now Kelsey makes use of that flute. Probably going to head over to, going to check the Misery Mire area. Get a good look at Eastern Palace or Desert Palace's ledge item, as well as what's in the Checkerboard Cave and the Mire Shed. Plus, it's worth taking a peek at Misery Mire's entrance just in case it later on becomes a required item. It is also Quake.
So the Misery Mire Shed not having much value, but we still do have Checkerboard Cave off to the right.
Yeah, and I suppose if I were Kelsey, I'd probably be heading into Desert Palace at this point. You're already here, so it seems very natural.
Kelsey does check their heart container count and picks up that piece of heart to add another.
Instead, choosing to head to Palace of Darkness, which is full clearable for her at this point. Oh, PHatHome gets dead rocked when thinking he might have been heading to look for Turtle Rock's entrance, but I believe he might have got there already. I wasn't sure. I was wondering if Kelsey would remember to go mirror over and see what Saharshala had for exchange of the green pendant, but perhaps she'll do that check after she finishes the Palace of Darkness.
I believe that that is the case. So we have PHatHome checking Super Bunny Cave, while Kelsey ventures into Palace of Darkness.
There's a large density of items available in this dungeon, so always when you have access to it, including the lantern, it's just a natural place to want to check early on. However, when you're missing the bow or the hammer, you tend to want to avoid it to the last resort.
And those silver arrows making quick work of those mimics.
So PHatHome666 about to be rewarded for the dip into the hookshot cave with two very useful items, the hammer and the flute. Meanwhile, Kelsey's storing up a plethora of keys to make navigating this dungeon easier.
Ooh, and it looks like Kelsey accidentally mirrored, being sent back to the beginning of the dungeon.
Yes, I believe she was intending to bomb this bridge and still on the mirror from earlier. There's
There
the
is
ether
ether.
medallion. Unfortunately, not the medallion she was looking for.
Do hear PHatHome666 activating the flute.
Oh, the Bombos medallion.
Ooh. Do you think we'll see Quake also?
It could be a gold medal dungeon in that case.
Oh, and it looks like Kelsey, maybe not setting up for the hammer jump.
Oh, small shield. Another key. The big key, which is nice to find before you head into that dark maze area, so you know that you're going to be able to access the big key chest. I think we should all take a minute to notice that Kelsey has officially achieved exactly 1,000 rupees. It was clearly on purpose.
The rupee savings. So we have PHatHome666 actually heading into Skullwoods again, but this time they will be able to head to the back half due to the fire rod being in their possession this time.
Yes, and it is a crystal dungeon, so definitely a worthwhile check.
But
There we find the flippers.
Yes, very key.
And that's probably going to trigger Kelsey's check into Zora. She'll be able to go from the catfish rock if she chooses at this point, just to add that extra level of item efficiency. When leaving Palace of Darkness, it's not a great thing to do without the boots, but you could always run up past check Pyramid and then head to Catfish and mirror over to continue the Zora checks.
Kelsey taking advantage of that Cane of Samaria for the easy block push.
And Fat Homie is heading into the Mothula fight. With Tempered Sword, Half Magic, and the Fire Rod, Mothula is not a particularly difficult boss as long as it chooses not to troll you by staying up on the edge of the spikes, which seems to be flying very close to the center of his map.
But down Mothula goes, unfortunately Fat with a compass for their troubles. But they do get one of the Pyramid Fairy Crystals.
That is true. The second one being Turtle Rock, though, usually one of the last dungeons completed, simply due to the fact that it has such a steep number of items that are required to complete it.
We have Kelsey greeted with the Helmassar King.
Silver arrows on Helmassar just means it's a single shot to that gem on his forehead to end the fight. There it goes. Our final item, just the map.
Nothing of too much value.
Now Fat Homie is going to be able to take a look at both the Hammerpeg cave and the magic powder area underneath the Mad Batter. So this check here could potentially give him an advantage in this race. So we are going to see the Saharshala green pendant check. Turns out it was just a piece of heart.
Now, Crowzone, if you were in the runner's shoes, where would you head to next?
Well, as I say, I tend to overvalue the overworld checks. So I think if I were Kelsey, I would probably head to the Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, and then make my Zora checks. Fat Homie gets the red mail from the Mad Batter. That's a very nice but not necessary item. So Kelsey's abandonment of the Tower of Hera is not going to hurt her in the long run.
Find the red boomerang on the Pyramid Ledge, and Kelsey choosing to skip it.
Yeah, the red boomerang is not the red item I think she was hoping to find there. But she is heading up to Catfish. And then, if she so chooses, she might actually come back down this way, hookshot across the river, and get the Graveyard Ledge check, which will net her the Tempered Sword. I'm just going to stop by and pick up some potions.
A nice safety to have in case of emergencies.
Yes, when you have as much gold as Kelsey has, it's definitely worth taking. You never know when you're going to have that one unfortunate set of hits in a row that make you feel like you just won't be able to make it through a boss fight or something. And having those blue pots in your pocket help a lot.
You notice Kelsey actually has the mirror out, so they're probably going to do Zora and the pyramid, or not the pyramid, the waterfall fairy check right after.
Well, it's logical at this point. She has the flippers. She can go to the ledge, get these 2 checks, and see what Zora is hoarding for 500 rupees. Now we know that the ledge here, the Zora ledge, is only another 300 rupee stack, but we're as of yet unaware of what is sitting in the pockets of King Zora. Now, PHatHome666 going to take a look at the ledge here in Desert. We have not yet seen this item. And it is the boots. Oh, an advantageous find there. That's going to allow him to run real fast and complete a couple of, and definitely full cleared Desert Palace. Zora, King Zora just having a piece of heart.
Fortunately, though, Desert Palace is not boots locked. It looks like Kelsey will be heading into Swamp Palace, perhaps? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
it seems. Oh, she's changing her mind. Activating the flute. Maybe she's going to take a look at Desert. Oh no, she's going to
Maybe go to Ice
take
Palace?
take a peek at the island, perhaps, and the hobo. Or no, she's going right into Ice Palace.
Very interesting play.
Perhaps she feels that Ice Palace is the place to go, and that a potential go mode in Swamp is a quicker time save for her. So we know that she's looking for the Quake Medallion and the Ice Rod, and of course boots would be a nice item to have. We know she doesn't need it for Desert Palace, but she's not aware of that. And we could always be trolled by the Torch Big Key in Ganon's Tower. So those are the items that we are basically on the hunt for at this point for both of our runners.
When Kelsey misses the switch.
Okay, PHatHome666 about to fight Landmolus.
Fortunately, though, with those silver arrows, it'll be very easy.
Oh! Just narrowly missing that third Landmolus. It was lined up perfectly, but manages to get it in the second cycle.
Very nice fight. A very nice bomb jump by Kelsey on the second try.
Yep, and PHatHome666 now taking a look at Palace of Darkness, and remember, he does need to finish Eastern Palace as well at this point. So this is going to be a relatively quicker completion for him because of those boots, allowing him a little bit of time to make some headway on his position in this race. He's going to stop by and trade in that green pendant as well before heading any further. Well, Kelsey seemed to have a psychic feeling there that Ice Palace was where she would find something she needed, and there it was, the Quake Medallion.
So all that's needed for go mode is Ice Rod.
Yes, at this time, that is our most likely go mode, provided we don't see the ultimate troll of Ganon's Tower. Although she will have to visit the Desert Palace, and the ledge check is just a natural check at that moment, so it's very unlikely she won't be getting the boots at that time.
Now, Crozone, what do you think the likelihood of a Turtle Rock gamble holding the Ice Rod is?
Well, I think at this point, if they can't find it in any of the other pendant dungeons or crystal dungeons available to them, it's where you have to go. It does not really make sense to dip into that final Misery Mire to look for an Ice Rod. It may be where it is, but you have to count on finding it in the far more item-dense Turtle Rock than the only 2 items that you can collect in Misery Mire. So I would suspect that we'll see Swamp Palace next, followed by Turtle Rock.
Kelsey having a little bit of issue getting through that door. Those ice physics aren't great.
Yeah, probably wishing she had the boots there. Does help you get a little control on the ice. Finding the big key chest to contain only the compass. Only 2 hearts here, but also a blue potion in hand as she heads down to the Cold Stair fight. PHatHome picks up his Ether Medallion, and he'll soon have Bombos as well in Palace of Darkness.
Kelsey electing to take out the Fire Rod.
Yeah, when you have only the Master Sword, Fire Rod in half magic is a much nicer means of battling this particular boss. Two of the puffs are already dead, and there goes the 3rd one. Excellent work taking down Cold Stair.
There is another crystal in Kelsey's belt.
Let's see if she goes back to her original plan for the Swamp Palace now. Oh no, it looks like she's going to head over to Desert, which is going to reward her tremendously when she mirrors up to the ledge here. Oh, she runs into the cactus there. Perhaps a gesture of feeling silly for not having this early check that was available done a little bit sooner. So both of our runners just going to areas that we have seen from the other already. Fat Homie grabs the flippers, and now would be a good time to remind everyone who is watching that both of these runners have a long time ahead of them, but they've both been putting on a fantastic show this game. It's a very close race, and if you would like, I'm sure that they would both enjoy the fact that you would take the time to follow them. You can see the link in chat to see what their Twitch locations are. So throw them a follow, show them the love that they deserve for putting on an excellent show for us today.
They both produce quality content.
Fat Homie heading into the back of Palace of Darkness, while Kelsey heads into the back of Desert Palace. Unfortunately, we know at this point, for both of our runners' sakes, that they're probably going to have to do a full clear of Swamp, despite the fact that go-moding it feels so nice. There are no way to get the Ice Rod before that. It seems to be a required place to look.
Well, one of our runners might be feeling big and take that big risk of not clearing the left side of Swamp.
That is true, and the Ice Rod could now easily be found in a place like the Bumper Cave or the King's Tomb. Two locations that our runners haven't been able to check up until now.
We did check Bumper Cave. It was 300 rupees.
Oh, Fat Homie did get in there. As well, Spike Cave.
We also have Bonk Rocks.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry, I was misspeaking. Oh, Fat Homie using bomb strats instead of the hammer strats on Helmisar King here.
Very interesting. The rarely seen bomb strats.
And making an excellent run of it. I think he hit every single bomb there.
Kelsey finishes off Lamolas, and Fat Homie finishes off the Helmisar King.
It's nearly synchronized boss kills. So Kelsey's going to go ahead probably and get Mothula down to grab her next crystal. Meanwhile, Fat Homie is probably just going to pop a mirror right here and take out the Armos Knights from Eastern Palace. Both of these runners have already been in these dungeons, so it's just a run to the boss and quick fight. I'm not sure if Kelsey remembered that she had already got all of the items necessary in this dungeon. It looked like she was thinking about clearing out those Gibdos to check the button there, but changed her mind, picked up the key, and is now heading to the back half.
Now, Crowzone, with Kelsey being so close to the pedestal, do you think it will be checked on their side?
I feel like if I were in her shoes, I would probably make that call. When you're here, it just is a natural check. You never know when you're about to get trolled, so I would be surprised if she doesn't. And then I believe she'll probably be enticed into taking the graveyard ledge and bonk rocks and King's Tomb checks.
PHatHome making quick work of those Armos Knights with those silver arrows. So all that's left for them is Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, and Turtle Rock.
I'll be curious to see where PHatHome tries to go next. Both Ice Palace and Swamp Palace have their pluses and minuses. Looks like he's going to take the Ice Palace route as well, like Kelsey did.
Going back to Kelsey, though, it looks like they're having a little bit of an issue with Mothula. But Mothula goes down, and we see some frustration slashes.
That's that one heart left, and we do know that she's used up her potions, so she was both out of half magic and almost out of health there. Unfortunately, she does not yet have the Tempered Sword like PHatHome did when he fought Mothula. And it looks like you were right to think about it. A pedestal check is in the cards for Kelsey here.
Fortunately, it is nothing of value.
Yeah, that has to feel good, knowing that you've gone into some dungeons and have not completed them. Kelsey, of course, just dipping into Tower of Hera earlier and not going through with the full boss fight. So this will be an opportunity for Kelsey to take a look at the Bumper Cave check. I don't know that she's seen it yet, but it looks like, yep, there, she's going to head up towards it.
And hopefully remember to go to the Graveyard Ledge and pick up that Tempered Sword.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's 3 checks available to her at this point, so it seems like the right place to head.
And Kelsey not forgetting about the Bonk Rocks, fortunately.
Just setting her portal back in opportune location. Finding yourself a full heart container there in the Bonk Rocks.
I think at this point, Kelsey's feeling pretty confident on heart containers.
Yep, but when you open up a chest and there's one inside, I don't think you ever get too upset. And as PHatHome finds one himself here in Ice Palace. Kind of having a moment of trying to think of where he wants to go. Does he want to try the bomb jump? Yes, it looks like he's going to make an attempt.
Let's see if it gets... Ooh, and PHatHome gets it.
Yeah, excellent setup there. Kelsey grabs her Tempered Sword. That's going to feel real good. Even though she has Silver's, Master Sword Ganon is not a lot of fun. Tempered Sword is just so much nicer.
And Kelsey also not forgetting about King's Tomb.
She gets the quick check there. And it is a piece of heart. So I feel like it will be time to dip into another dungeon at this point. And so does Kelsey.
Looks like Swamp Palace is the play.
Yes, and she's got to be hoping for that ice rod early on in here, just for the comfort and peace of mind, knowing that that's it for the items that she needs at this point in the game.
Oh, maybe not.
She's not able to do the bomb, but the
No?
bomb is Turtle Rock, so it won't be available to her at this point.
Kelsey pausing for a second and realizing, uh-oh, I haven't done Turtle Rock. Fortunately, though, the ice rod cannot be in that pyramid fairy due to the logic required.
That is correct. The try next fight is going to be required to get that crystal. PHatHome now, with the big key in hand, is able to open up this chest and find the compass. A lot of work to just find a dungeon item, and he will be heading down to fight Cold Stare now.
Fortunately, PHatHome will have the tempered sword this time, whereas Kelsey only had the master sword, so it'll make things a little bit easier.
Yes, that is true. In the first chest, we find the Cane of Burna. Not the blue item that Kelsey was hoping for, but it does provide access to Spike Cave. So it's just another world check that she can make in the event that she doesn't find what she's looking for here.
Meanwhile, we have PHatHome taking down Cold Stare.
It's in very quick fashion.
Easy peasy.
And now, if she does not find the ice rod here, I wonder if the pulling out of Tower of Hera, where there was still an item, is going to weigh heavily on Kelsey's mind.
My guess is Kelsey will head back to Tower of Hera if the ice rod is not found.
Yes, before heading into Turtle Rock. Oh, look at this. She's choosing to go towards the back of the swamp, foregoing the left side and potentially the big key chest as well.
A very interesting play, potentially a large gamble.
Yes, if she is successful here and finds the ice rod in this latter half of the dungeon, it's going to have been about a 2-minute time save. When you have the boots, a clear of the left side typically takes about 2 to 2.5 minutes.
However, Kelsey does hope that the ice rod is in fact in Turtle Rock or even Tower of Hera. The run back to Swamp Palace will not be exciting.
Oh no. PHatHome has entered Swamp Palace as well at this point. Just the compass. Oh, Kelsey changes her mind, thinks twice about this gamble, and is going to head back to check the left side.
Kelsey going with the safe plays.
And I think if you're feeling that the race is fairly even at this point, and she hasn't made any significant critical mistakes, so I believe that that's where she has to feel that she's at. This is the right call to make. You took a little risk seeing if you could get ahead, but not willing to gamble for the big chunk of time by avoiding the left side.
Unfortunately, though, Kelsey does not flood the key. Flooding the key in this part would be detrimental because you'd have to exit the dungeon, mirror out, screen transition, and do it all over again.
And at this point, because she's checked nearly everywhere else, she has to know that PHatHome is probably in the same boat as her, on the same hunt for this last item. So any little check that she makes, she knows that her opponent is also making. So both runners kind of shoehorned into a specific path at this point.
So far, the gamble has not played out in Kelp's favor, but there's one more chest. Ooh. Not what
PHatHome
she was looking for.
PHatHome has also made the no left side check gamble, and he seems to be. It's possible that he's going to commit fully to it. We'll see in a moment. Yes, he's heading right up to Argus, so looks like we've had a little turnaround of fortunes here. He doesn't know it yet, but this was the right call for him to make. And there is also, I was just thinking, that big chest in Thieves Town runners could not get into that does have an item in it. Whoa, PHatHome getting a million puffs all at once there. Really good run at Argus's first phase. Finishes that boss off very quickly.
There is the big key.
So at this point, will he head back in and check it?
I would say yes.
Well, you are right here, and the swamp is already drained. Leaving it now would mean you'd have to go through that entire sequence again, so PHatHome chooses to make that call.
Now, do you think PHatHome will check the left side as well?
Oh, that is possible at this point. When he finds nothing in the big key, he may think, if he finds nothing in the big key, he may think to himself, well, I'm already in here and it would be horrible to have to come back. So it's certainly going to be a process in his mind, a decision-making process that he's going to have to go through.
Meanwhile, Kelsey takes down Argus, and the fire shield is in the big chest.
Now, I believe that has shown us all three shield locations, which, although we have the Cane of Brian, is another indicator that, another required item for Turtle Rock's laser bridge area. So, although the runners already have it, the Cane of Brian, it also might be another clue that Turtle Rock may have the item they're looking for. So this turn of events now kind of swings the lead, such as it is, back to Kelsey's way, because she's already checked the left side of the swamp. And so she's going to be able to mirror out immediately after checking the big key chest. But at this point, it is really too close to have a definitive lead. Now the real question will be, does one of our runners want to take the dip into Misery Mire before heading up to Turtle Rock?
It looks like Kelsey is electing not to.
Yeah, and I feel at this point that is the call I would make. It just doesn't seem likely. And at this point, you're really just playing the odds. trying to get some speed off this staircase, but unfortunately the cabbage boulders do not want to give it to her. And now we'll see if Fat Homie is of a similar mindset. Yes, indeed, we did get... Fat Homie did check the peg cave. There was nothing of interest there.
Fat Homie does have the same idea as Kelsey now. Oh, it looks like Kelsey's actually going for a fairy.
She is at half of her health. No, she gets one there. She wants to make the check into Spike Cave, so having a lot of extra health is going to make that a little bit easier. Though she does have the cane and half magic, so that along with hook shots going to leave her relatively healthy coming out of this. Both of our runners at the exact same spot at the exact same time. And are rewarded with
no
20
value.
rupees. So Kelsey wants to make the run back. Instead of saving and quitting, she's already up on top of Death Mountain. Well, she does have to jump down again and make the climb.
It looks like... my guess is Kelsey will mirror over and then climb.
Yeah, she does want to be in the light world to get on top of Turtle Rock in order to open it up, so... Fat Homie making the exact same choice. She can always mirror over, but nope, she's saying it. Just going to go up Paradox Cave instead, and I'll be right there. She can grab another fairy this way from the Bonk Rocks, just outside of this ascent. Now, Fat Homie is going to have one significant advantage as he clears Turtle Rock, and that is he has the powder, and sometimes a lot of the monsters in Turtle Rock can do some significant damage, and there are several anti-fairies that he'll be able to convert should he become threatened. Instead, though, he save and quits back to Sanctuary.
Perhaps to check the King's Tomb.
Oh yes, he has not yet done this.
But we already know that there is nothing there.
Mm-hmm. So back up the mountain he has to go.
Very interesting play.
He's got Bonk Rocks as well to check, I believe, so he's going to make that. Oh.
Another bottle, especially with a red potion.
Yes, blue would have been preferred, but that health is very nice for Kelsey to have at this time. Just a little insurance to go along with.
That homie also electing to head back to 4.
Yes, I'm not exactly sure what he's double checking here. Is he also forgotten that he does not have the big bomb access yet?
That's what I would guess.
Yeah, that is my guess. He's going to feel foolish, I think.
I wonder if Fat Homie's getting a little flustered.
Well, you can see how this is really... Oh, no, he's going to make... He hasn't yet made the check, perhaps, to Pyramid Ledge and Catfish.
Oh.
But as I was saying, you can see here how much the lengths that runners will go through to avoid going into Turtle Rock without the Ice Rod and Fire Rod. Oh, the Chain Chomp's trolling Kelsey here. but she makes it through. And this is going to allow PHatHome to pick up some potions at the witch's house, should he desire. We'll see if he switches over to the mirror or if he's just going to go right to catfish. Oh, just right to catfish.
I think PHatHome's feeling pretty confident with that red mail.
It is a nice advantage to have at this point. Oh, he also has not yet gone to Zora proper and seen what the King Zora has.
Catfish giving PHatHome that fat 300.
Still no ice rod yet in Turtle Rock. Lots of chests to check though.
There is also Mimic Cave. Some runners do forget that.
And I'm starting to wonder if the Plate of Misery Mire might have been correct, but it's a little too early to make that call.
PHatHome not finding what they're looking for, so they save and quit back to Link's house.
Okay. Kelsey's going to go ahead and activate the mirror here to get a good look in Mimic Cave. Another piece of heart. With every chest, you could just feel the runner's heart sinking.
Not that item that they're looking for. Now, I don't believe we've seen the map or compass in Turtle Rock. So that will only leave 2 items on Laser Bridge. Or Trinex could have the map or compass also.
And there's this chest right here as well that could potentially... Oh, it needed a key. And there will have to be, I think... Oh no, they have enough keys, I believe. The fire swords here spinning around are easily dodged by using the invulnerability frames from launching your hookshot off there, so Kelsey makes use of that. I'm gonna go ahead and open the safety door here, which I think is a good call. See if she decides to use the cane. Yes, she will.
I think at this point it's... Ooh, there's the ice rod.
There it is. She has her key and she's in full-on go mode. Now she's going to probably take the death here, I think. Oh, in order to recharge her hearts. She did use the safety door. And there's a big relief for Kelsey to find that item there. And she is now officially in go mode.
Not even going to check those other 3 items because Kelsey wants out.
She is feeling that this seed is over with. So Tempered Sword and Half Magic for Trinex is a very nice fight. Looks like Kelsey's electing to take the ice side first.
doesn't want to deal with that ice mess on the ground. But Kelsey needs to be very careful.
Does not have any potions,
Uh-oh.
but does have the cane. Unfortunately, needs to land this ice shot before she can use the cane.
And down goes the firehead.
She's going to be able to use the Cane of Burna here to keep herself safe because she has the half magic. She may be... Oh, it's getting close. She's run out.
Kelsey needs to be very conservative when attacking Trinax.
Oh, that was very close. A tight fight there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to play that game of games in the chat. So we're about to start it off, and if you are looking for the big key, where would you find it? What number? So from check number 1 to 22, please enter it now. And if you are a follower or a subscriber to the Speed Gaming channel family, or have donated 250 bits, you'll be entered into a chance to get on the leaderboard should you choose correctly. Make your guess really quick because it's a very short run from here to Ganon's Tower.
Crozone, where are you hoping to see the big key?
You know, the last couple of races I commentated, it was on the far right side, so in the high numbers. So I'm feeling like these runners are going to be rewarded with something 4 or 5. I'm going to go with 5.
I usually like to guess 3, but I have seen way too many high numbers recently.
And with that, the time is up for the counting. Kelsey takes a look at the right side first for these first 2 checks. It's 50 rupees and another heart container. So there's 1 and 2. A small key on number 3.
Something that Kelsey will need to climb Ganon's Tower, but not the right size key.
So we're going to get a look at 4, 5, 6, and 7 now. We get the cape, the shovel, all of the fetch quests coming at the end of the game, and the big key in number 6.
Number 6.
So I was off by 1 this time. Looks like nobody today got the correct answer. The closest was some 5s. Guesses of number 5. But with 55 arrows, 27 bombs, 13 hearts, and the blue mail with tempered sword, Kelsey's in an excellent spot for making the ascent to Ganon's Tower. Meanwhile, PHatHome choosing to check the chests from top to bottom. Unfortunately, that is not the best choice for him, although he's not able to guess that in any way, shape, or form. He's having his moment of truth now. And a frustration display as he finds the ice rod here.
Not where PHatHome was hoping for it to be.
It's going to come down to execution in Ganon's Tower for both of these runners. Kelsey's going to scoop up this fairy in a bottle to keep in her bottle. She has the bug net, so that's a good find there. Very fortunate for her because she does not have the powder to get those on demand. PHatHome makes really quick work of the first and second head on Trinex.
Very clean fight.
Finishes off Trinex really quickly. Throwing some extra fire out.
Full landmo.
Oh, snipes that last one there for 2 cycles.
So PHatHome is right behind Kelsey and will hopefully get the big key relatively quickly.
Making short work of the torch room there. Kelsey checks one of the extra chests. It's just, you know, you never know when you might find red mail or the butter sword to speed this up even more.
Ooh, but Kelsey misses the bomb throw the first time and gets it the second.
It's a really strange bonk off the sidewall there.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Must have clipped that stray pixel or something. And we begin Trolldorm 2. Who almost lives up to his name there at that first part.
Down Trolldorm 2 goes.
We'll see if Kelsey checks the last chest. Nope, going to forego that. Doesn't feel the need that much for the butter sword or the red mail, it seems. And Aga 2. So, will we have nice positioning and lineups for triples, or will it be a blue ball fest? Gets a double at the start.
My personal favorite sequence is the rush sequence, the 2-1-1-2.
And Kelsey knocks down Aga 2 relatively quickly.
We have Kelsey facing off with Ganon. Meanwhile, PHatHome is headed over to Landmo 2 and opts to not powder the anti-fairy, thus not changing the locations that they spawn.
Yeah, so a lot of people may not be aware that that does affect the RNG of where the land mollusk will come out.
Kelsey does take a hit from the fire bats, leaving her with half a heart. Kelsey needs to be very careful.
She does have the fairy that she was able to net up on her climb of Ganon's tower. So a little bit of insurance, but that is an uncomfortable position to be in. PHatHome gets a 1 cycle on those whiz ropes. And we enter the final stage. Let's see if she gets her torch glitch. Yes. And a excellent setup for arrows. Gets a double.
Goes for one more and gets ready to reignite the torch.
Wisely takes her time to avoid that fire bat. Even though she has the fairy, a death there does add critical seconds in a race there, you're not quite sure. And she has knocked down Ganon and will be exiting and entering the Triforce room momentarily.
We have Kelsey finishing with an official time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 19 seconds. GG, Kelsey.
Indeed, GG. PHatHome hot on her heels at the Trolldorm fight. So we'll see in a few moments if Kelsey will head into the Discord to have a little interview at the end.
We do have PHatHome opting for the bug net strats.
And let's welcome Kelsey to the room here. Congratulations and GG on an excellent win.
Yes, GG. Kelsey, how are you feeling right now?
Well, perhaps she's getting her mic set up. Sometimes after running the race, you may have muted some things or turned off your push to talk.
Oh yeah, I'm push to talk. How about that? I've been like sitting here talking, and that's really funny. I'm talking on my stream and nobody's hearing me. Hey, hi. I'm feeling okay. My heart is pounding, and I hate Ice Rod Go mode so much, so much.
Now, when you found that ice rod, on a scale from 1 to 10, how annoyed were you?
Very. Mostly relieved that I didn't have to go back into Thieves Town Big Chest or Mire. I was going up to Death Mountain, and I was like, you know, I got a call here between either Hera or Turtle Rock, and Turtle Rock has more items. And you know, we love to find Ice Rod in Turtle Rock, so if I don't find it in Turtle Rock, at least I can go and dip into Hera, because Hera was a train wreck the first time I went in, and so it just worked out that I was on Laser Bridge. Oh my god.
Now, you elected not to go back into Hera again. Do
Right.
you want to know what you missed?
Yeah, sure. What was there anything good in there? I imagine only like maybe butter. I wasn't missing
The
much.
magic powder.
Oh man, powder. That would have saved me a little bit of stress. I really like started panicking a bit at Trinex. I knew I had a red potion. I just didn't want to use it unless I needed it in Ganon's Tower, and so I'm just really glad that it wasn't too much there. That was an interesting seed. I don't know.
Yes, and just to update, Fat Homie has now completed the race.
Hey.
Managed to get a triple on that first part against Ganon. Triple on the Silver
The
Arrows.
swag.
Indeed, and has now completed the race with an official time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 47 seconds.
GG.
Yay, GG, Fat Homie. How close was the race? Was it, were we, I mean, like, obviously he just finished, so, like, how was our routing, like, in terms of, like, were we just doing the same thing? Because it just was, like, there's some divergence, I guess. There's, like, one point where 4 dungeons were open to us, but I don't know.
For the most part, you both had similar routing. The only difference was Fat Homie elected to check the graveyard ledge very early and picked up the sword.
Yeah, that would have made things a little faster.
But other than that, they were both pretty much the same.
Yeah, it was kind of linear. I mean, it was like, one item after another. I mean, I think the biggest, like, item, like, multiple item get was, I think, in Hookshot Cave when we got both flute and hammer. That was pretty sweet.
Graveyard ledge.
And also Thieves Town having
and
cane and something else. I can't remember.
Oh yes, there was the Cane of Samario and the lantern, I believe.
Oh yeah, the lantern.
Thieves Town, yes.
Yep.
Yes, and we had the one moment there when you both kind of thought about skipping left side swamp.
Oh my god, that was such a mess. I knew, like, right when I, like, canceled my gamble, I was like, this is not a good thing to do. I was counting items, and I was like, I got a map and compass pretty early on, and I was like, man, if I bet I was kind of hoping the big Q would be on the left side. And then when it was two 20s, I was like, oh my god, what a slap in the face. That was just a total mess.
Yes, it turns out that both you and Fat Homie did the same thing. It's just you decided to go back to the left kind of midway.
Right.
He completed Argus and then went back in to check.
Yeah, which is definitely the faster way. Oh man.
It was very close at that point, and it was back and forth basically based on those decisions. At that point, we thought, "Whoa, you had just finished checking left side and were making your way to Argus," and he had gone straight to Argus at that point. So he pulled kind of ahead of you, but then you killed Argus, and he was going back in. So it was very, very tight at that point.
Wow. Also, hey, Fat Homie.
Hey, Kelsey.
GG, dude.
GG's.
That was. I don't know about you, but I just felt like I was running all over the place and not sure where to go. I just kind of rolled with it.
That's me all the time.
Yeah, man.
So it was very close, and you should be pretty happy. You had a little bit of trouble at the start there, Fat Homie. With,
I don't want to hear about it.
The dark room was getting the best of you, it seemed.
It's always the Igor.
Oh, did you have trouble in the dark Igor room?
Yep. I got the key, but then the other one roamed around and I didn't know where he went.
Dude, yeah, that sucks. I almost got, like, owned there myself. I think I had, like, 2 hearts before I found the door. I was like, oh my god.
Yes, it does seem that the hard part, one would assume, is to get the Igor dead and pick up the key, but that pot and doorway are hard to find.
Yeah, that pot is actually the worst thing. It's, like, really particular. Yeah, you have to go at it, like, straight on. Otherwise, it's not budging, and you're just stuck there, just gonna die apparently. So
Fat Homie, the other big question I had for you was very early on. You chose to make the fake flipper call without with a low amount of rupees there. What was your thought process that led you down that path?
I mean, I was already doing lower high roll, and I'd figured I'd check Hobo and the island just in case, and of course I didn't get rupees, so just made the decision. I had the Moon Pearl, just go into the waterfall and just check the Zora Ledge, and then just leave, just get some information.
Right.
Yeah, what was interesting was how as soon as you finished that and went to Eastern Palace, all the rupees you could have won.
Yep.
Oh, no.
It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But
At that point, it wasn't. It was just kind of a humorous moment where I feel like you must have been like, "Well, there's all the rupees." As soon as you got out of that section of the map.
Yep, that was my immediate thought. Well, there was the rupees.
Yeah. So, not to be. You shouldn't feel too bad because although you struggled with the dark room, you weren't knocked down by Troll Dorm, and so Kelsey did have to bail out. So you both bailed out of a dungeon fairly early on.
Yeah, I like was having the worst time in Hera. I like messed up on the bomb jump like twice, and I was like, "Screw it, I'm out." Like, not today.
That was me in my last race.
Yes, indeed. So so I'll just let we're wrapping up here, and the next races are about to start. So any last kind of comments or things that you'd like to make, Kelsey? How do you feel about this victory? How do you feel going forward? Is there anyone that you'd like to face, or anyone that you'd like to avoid?
I mean, I mean, I'll just take what I can get for now. I don't know. I don't really know who I want to face. Like, there's some people I know that are gonna be 2-1. I don't know. I haven't really. I mean, Fat Homie's like really like the first person that I've known that I'm racing. So it's like, you know, the tournament's so big. So who knows? But I don't know. I mean, it was cool that I got a second win. I wasn't expecting more than one this entire tournament, so that's fun.
Well, 2-1 puts you in a pretty good spot, and congratulations on the win, and good luck in your next race and throughout the rest of the tournament.
Thank you, and you too, Fat Homie.
Yep.
Yes.
Good luck.
And Fat Homie, the same question to you. It does mean you fall to 1 and 2, but that's still a healthy score. You're able to continue on. You can make it through brackets at this point. How do you feel about going forward? Is there any specific type of seed or thing that you're looking forward to or hoping to avoid?
I want to be able to find the ice rod.
You know, so true.
Yes, that last item ice rod on the laser bridge for you.
Yeah.
Stressful.
But I don't know. Just take it as it goes. Just hope I play just a little bit better. And
Really on that. Every time I'm just like, this is just gonna be a mess. I'm gonna be terrible.
I think this was the fastest I've done it so far in this tournament. So
Nice.
Yes, it was a trolley seed, so a sub 2 hour on a seed that was trying to troll you with that last item. Nothing to be upset with.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations once again to both of you guys. You've put on a great show for us. The chat was very entertained, speculating about what would happen, and we were all on the edge of our seats as the chest count was dwindling in Turtle Rock, and the alternatives were looking very upsetting. So Thank you for putting on an excellent show. Congratulations.
You're so welcome. That was totally us, you know. We planned this.
It's the way. Well, you never know. Somebody could have made the Misery Mire gamble just to see what would happen. It would have been amazing.
That's true. That is true.
But it was very close. Thanks a lot for running this. Good luck in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, thanks so much for commentating, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Glad I made this somewhat entertaining.
Okay, and once again, if chat, please throw a follow to both of these runners. They provided us with a great show. I'd like to also ask that you follow Little Gabe's, my co-commentator here, and as
thank you,
well, Oh, you're welcome. And as well, Merc249 was our restreamer. Give him a follow as well. He's been doing a lot of excellent work for this tournament.
Merc was actually a tracker.
Oh, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Big thank you to Merc for tracking. But if nothing else has been said or needs to be said, my name is Little Gabes. I've been joined by Crowzone80. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you all again soon.
Bye, y'all.
Have a good night.